Today on Israel Hayom Insider. For more than 60 years, the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel has been synonymous with environmental protection and ecological awareness in Israel. But with an ever-growing population and increasing economic development come new challenges. With me in the studio, Jay Shofet, the Director of Partnerships and Development for the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. Hi, Jay.
Hey, Steve.
Okay, what are the main environmental challenges in Israel today?
Well, Israel's as everybody knows, it's a densely populated country, a hot country, but the really important and crazy thing is that we're at the land bridge of 3 continents. We're at the intersection of 4 climatological zones. We're a very unique global biodiversity hotspot. That's what the UN has called us, part of about 2% of the globe, so designated. It means that for our size, we have more flora and fauna, more animals and plant species than any country in the world our size.
Really?
Hundreds of mammal species. In terms of birds, we sit on the most important bird migration fly route in the world. Virtually all the birds that migrate, and butterflies as well, migrate from the Eurasian landmass. They fly right over this tiny little strip of Israel on their way to winter in Africa, and they fly back again in the spring. About 500 million birds each direction. 1 billion birds are in our sky over the course of a year, and it's incredible number of species. If you're a birder looking for species, you got to come here because and they're all landing and they're drinking our water, and we have to protect. We're also, according to international charters we've signed, we're obligated to protect, but it is our moral duty to protect these fly routes, the water sources. These birds drink some water in Eilat or in Jerusalem on their way south. They fly over the Saharan desert, the Arabian deserts, go for thousands of kilometers without even drinking. We got to make sure they have fresh, clean water to drink when they're here.
Okay, so Israel has particular sensitivity or it's a particularly important landmass for this the biodiversity, for the birds, the butterflies, etc. Some people will say, what does that have to do with people? Okay, so there'll be fewer birds, maybe there'll be fewer butterflies. Why do I care?
Oh, it's all, we're all connected to each other, I think they said in one of those Disney movies, in the Man in Nature. Israel, as I said, it's small, it's dense. We need to build and 90% of Israelis live in cities. We like to think about rural Israel and the agricultural settlements and stuff, but the fact is that 90% of us and a growing percentage of the population live in the cities of Israel. We need to make sure that they're built densely and sustainably in order to protect the open spaces with all that beautiful flora and fauna. They have to be in our cities as well, and integrating urban nature is an important part of us, but they're not just background dropping to our lives. They're the canaries in the coal mine. They're the harbingers of everything that's happening with this globe. Species collapse and extinction in the world and in our area is something that's been taking place over time since the Industrial Revolution, accelerated in the last 50 years. We need to keep the entire ecosystem healthy because we don't need a polluted, gridlocked Israel, dirty rivers or no rivers. We need a beacon to the world. That's what we are. The Jewish call for environmental stewardship of the land, for sane environmental stewardship from biblical times, the leaving the land fallow a year and treating animals with respect and giving them rest. All of that today means that as a global biodiversity hotspot for the world and for Israelis who live in cities with a lot of pollution from transportation, and it means that we have a call to be smart in our planning decisions, in our environmental regulations, in our personal decisions in our lives, in order to keep Israel green and sustainable and not grimy and gridlocked.
Okay, one thing that you hear is that Israel is a leader in desalinization, and that has solved our water problems. We have very, very little water, but now we can desalinate as much as we want. No more water problems. If that's true, why is the Sea of Galilee so far down? Why is the Dead Sea drying up? Why is the Jordan River not what it used to be?
Great question. I get asked that a lot when I talk to people in the States. I ask it too of our own water experts. Desalinization is great news for the country. We are leading the world in technology. We're desalinating all the water we need for drinking. And the old, Israel is drying up with the scare tactics. You open your faucet, there's no water. We're past that time. We're not going to have to float ice cubes from the Arctic or pipelines from Turkey. Yeah. Our drinking water situation is fine.
Okay.
But 90% of the water we use, and most countries use, is not even in home use. It's industrial or agricultural. And in order to rehabilitate our water sources, the Kinneret, which is dropping, and all of our rivers and streams that used to flow year-round and now barely flow at all. I mean, that's caused both by their overuse, and maybe slowly and with a national project we can divert some of that water to the ecological rehabilitation of our wetlands. But the bigger problem is climate change. We haven't mentioned it yet in a talk about the environment, but global weirding, in addition to global warming, has caused a big drought.
Global weirding?
Global weirding. Thomas Friedman caused that term. It's not just that overall the temperatures are getting hotter, yes, but it means that in many places the winters are getting colder, and it means that the floods are getting more dominant. On the other hand, the droughts are getting longer.
So everything's
more extreme. And we've had drought. The Kinneret is less water is flowing into it from the Jordan and its tributaries. Less water is flowing out of it. We're using more of it when it's here, when it's in the Kinneret, and it's going to be a long, slow process, and it's going to require a lot of forward thinking on behalf of the government to really move from the desalinization and its use for drinking water and other purposes to truly rehabilitate the rivers and streams.
Okay, going back a little bit to climate change. Israel's a tiny country. This is a global issue. Do we have an effect on the globe? I mean, little Israel, what can we do to help in the battle against climate change?
Wow, I mean, little Israel is, the little engine that could. Look, Israel, startup nation here. We lead the world in so many areas of
solar
high
energy,
tech,
water,
in general, but in renewable energy for sure. We invented drip irrigation here in the 70s and have revolutionized agriculture all over the world. Netafim, the company that did that, is reinventing drip irrigation for the 21st century. And solar power, Luz, the people that have founded Luz in Israel moved to California, and now Israel's solar energy is on board again. Yossi Abramowitz created the first solar field in Kibbutz Keturah, and today 30% of the Arava, the southern desert of Israel, and the city of Eilat, 30% of electricity is generated renewably from the sun.
Really?
And although Israel's overall goals are terrible, and it's tough going to get solar energy going in Israel, but in terms of a beacon to the world, Yossi just came back from a 2-week trip to Africa with the Prime Minister, visited a lot of countries, and signed agreements, power purchase agreements, to build solar fields with Israeli technology in the Horn of Africa. Already in Rwanda, 8% of their electricity needs are being provided by one solar field that Gigawatt Global built there with Israeli technology in a short amount of time. And that is a hope for Africa and the world, to get electricity to those areas.
Fantastic. Okay. People who want to get in touch with the Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel, they want to do something, they want to help, they want to find out more about the organization, what can they do?
Yeah, people that want to hike our trails, we run the Israel National Trail and all the trail systems. People that want to get active in our communities to, maybe advance environmental goals on the local level, they should look at our website, Society for the Protection of Nature in Israel. You could Google it, either you could find our website or Facebook of the same name.
Jay, I want to thank you very much, and we want to have you back to talk more in depth about these issues.
Thanks, I'd love to.
And I want to also thank the viewers, of course, for continuing to follow us. Send us your feedback. We always like to get it, and we'll see you next time.